Welcome back to Electron Devices and Circuits lecture series video. In this video we are going to discuss about the topic half wave rectifiers. At the end of the video you will be able to understand the expression for rectifier parameters and disadvantages of half wave rectifier. So first one, and the expression we are going to derive the 10 parameters in half wave rectifier. The first one is the average DC load current. See, the average DC load current represented by IDC. So here we have taken this reference waveform we have discussed in the previous video. This is the input AC sinusoidal signal having its represented by its equation ES equal to ESM sin omega t. And 0 to pi is the time period for positive off cycle, pi to 2 pi is the time period for negative off cycle, and one complete cycle is the one positive off cycle and one negative off cycle. Its time period is 0 to 2 pi. And this is the waveform for the load current. So current is allowed to flow in the circuit only during the positive off cycle we have discussed in the previous video. So this is the waveform for positive off cycle. We are getting the current waveform as such like that of the input signal, and for the negative off cycle value is 0, and again for our positive off cycle we are getting an output current same as that of the input signal. So since it is pulsating in nature, we need to calculate the average value of DC current. So here this Im is not this one, actually this is the value of current Im. So this is the maximum value of current represented by capital Im, and this small im may be the instantaneous values of current at each and every time instant. So here to find the average value of a sinusoidal signal, the formula is area under the curve over one complete cycle divided by time period. The formula for finding the area of sinusoidal signal is IDC equal to area under the curve over one complete cycle. This is the curve we are considering over one complete cycle. One complete cycle, the time duration is this one. So complete cycle time is 0 to 2 pi. So here 0 to 2 pi, what waveform we are taking? Load current waveform. So this is IL, we are integrating it. So this is d omega t by 2 pi. So this omega t is nothing but we can take this as theta. On x-axis we are considering omega t. So here we are taking as omega t, not theta. So just in the next step we have to replace IL by its formula. IL is nothing but Im sin omega t. This is nothing but same as like this equation. And again we have to split the time intervals for each half cycle. For positive half cycle alone we are having the output current. So we are splitting the integral from 0 to pi and then from pi to 2 pi. For pi to 2 pi IDC equal to 0, so this terms becomes 0. So we need to consider only for positive half cycle 0 to pi. So Im sin omega t d omega t, and we are integrating. Since Im is constant, bring it outside the integral. So Im by 2 pi, and sin omega t when you integrate this becomes minus cos omega t. 0 to pi is the limit, and the next step substitute the limit by taking negative sign outside. So this becomes cos pi minus cos 0. Cos pi is minus 1 and cos 0 is 1. When you simplify this you will get the value Im by pi. So the formula for average value of DC current in half wave rectifier is given by Im divided by pi. We have calculated the current value. Similarly we need to calculate the average value of voltage. For finding that one, either we need to use the same methodology like this, or otherwise we use the Ohm's law directly. If we use the Ohm's law directly, we know that V equal to I into R. So we need to find voltage, load voltage EDC, that is equal to IDC into RL, because RL is taken as the resistance connected at the output of the circuit. And IDC we have just calculated, this becomes Im by pi. So this is the formula for EDC, and this is the formula for EDC in half wave rectifier. And next one, we need to find RMS value of voltage and current. So we have calculated the DC voltage, but on all application side we need to use only RMS value. So it is mandatory to find RMS value for all parameters in the electrical circuit. So RMS value is area under the squared curve. Here we have considered area under the curve, whereas RMS value area under the squared curve over one complete cycle divided by time period. So we are just squaring the numerator term, divided by time period is 2 pi, and again we are substituting. So when you are abbreviating this square, this becomes Im square sin square theta, sin square omega t into d omega t. Im square is constant, you take outside. Sin square theta, what's the formula? Sin square theta equal to 1 by 2 1 minus cos 2 theta. So just we are substituting it here, and again 2 becomes constant, you bring it outside, and this becomes integral of d omega t becomes omega t minus cos 2 omega t becomes sin 2 omega t by 2. Just substitute the limits and simplify it, you will get the value Im divided by 2. So I can say that RMS value is nothing but Im divided by 2. RMS value in half wave rectifier is Im divided by 2. Similarly, we need to calculate RMS value of, this is for current, and similarly we need to find voltage. So for DC voltage, what we did, we used the Ohm's law. Similarly, for RMS value also we used the old Ohm's law for calculating the ERMS. So similarly ERMS or otherwise VRMS. VRMS equal to IRMS into RL. So IRMS we have just calculated. This becomes Im by 2 into RL. Im can be written by, again Ohm's law, Vm divided by R. For R, see what I have included. For R is not simply RL. This is RL plus RF. Why I have considered like this means, so maximum value of current flowing through the circuit depends on the resistance in the entire circuit. So for example, secondary winding of transformer will be like this, and on the output terminal side here we have connected diode followed by load resistance. Right, this is the secondary of the transformer. The voltage resistance across the diode is RF, and this is the load resistance RL. Right, so the current flowing through this circuit depends, the current is taken as Im. Maximum current flowing through the circuit depends on the resistance in the entire circuit. So the resistance is these two are in series. So total resistance is RF plus RL. So that's why RF plus RL here. So again by simplifying, you bring the RL outside, and this becomes 1 plus RF by RL. So this RL and this RL will get cancelled. And again when you consider RL and RF, RL load resistance is very high compared to that of the diode forward resistance. So denominator, when you are having a high value, it will result in very less value. When you find out RF by very high value for RL, you will get only least value, that becomes negligible. So this can be written as Vm divided by 2. So VRMS is equal to Vm divided by 2 is the RMS value of voltage in half wave rectifier. So we have calculated load voltage, load current, RMS value of voltage, RMS value of current. So next is we have to calculate the power. So DC power output is PDC. We know the formula for power P equal to one formula is either V into I. What is that? Power formula is power P is equal to one formula V into I, and another formula is I square into R. Right? So I have used both the formula here. PDC equal to EDC into IDC, or otherwise I into R. I is nothing but ID square into RL. So substitute the value of IDC. This becomes Im by pi whole square into RL, and this becomes Im square by pi square into RL. This is the DC power delivered at the output side in half wave rectifier. This depends only on the value of RL and maximum values of current. The next is AC power input. This is DC power output, and the next one is AC power input. This is because rectifier converts AC input into DC output. So for that output side we are calculating DC, and on the input side we are calculating AC. So this is represented by PAC. PAC, again I am using the same formula, I square R, whereas here AC current is IRMS. IRMS square into R. For see here, for R I have included 3 resistance, whereas for DC I have included only one resistance RL because DC current flowing through the load resistance RL, whereas AC current is flowing through, where are all the AC current is flowing? So see here in the previous diagram, this is transformer secondary. On the secondary side we are having an AC current. That current is allowed to flow through the diode. After that only it gets rectified and it flows through load resistance RL. So when you are considering on the input side, three resistances included. All the three resistance we need to include. RL plus RF plus RS. All the three resistance are in series. Load resistance, forward resistance of the diode, and RS is nothing but secondary winding resistance of transformer. So this becomes, when you substitute value for IRMS, IRMS is Im by 2, IRMS square is Im square by 4, and same resistance is this one. So this is the equation for AC power input in half wave rectifier. And seventh one is rectifier efficiency. We have designed one circuit, that is we have discussed one circuit, half wave rectifier. We need to calculate the efficiency of the circuit. Then only we can use the circuit for application point of view. Normally any circuit, if it provides an efficiency at least above 80%, means it is effective on application side. So for that aspects we need to calculate the efficiency in half wave rectifier. Normally we know the formula for efficiency. It is defined as the ratio of output power to input power. So here output power is DC power, whereas input power is AC power in rectifier. So we have used the formula efficiency is equal to DC power output to AC power input. So DC power output to AC power input represented by PDC by PAC. PDC we have just calculated. PDC is Im square by pi square into RL. So this becomes Im square by pi square RL by PAC. PAC is Im square by 4 into 3 resistance. So Im square by 4, 3 resistance. So again you simplify this one. So when you simplify this and this, it becomes 4 by pi square into RL. Denominator you are having this one. Again you take RL outside and you can simplify the equation like this. In this term also RL will be very high compared to that of this term. So this term becomes negligible. You will have only RL. So in the numerator also you will have RL. So here that is missing here. So in the numerator side also you are having R suffix L. So if it is like this, so this RL and this RL will get cancelled. So this term is negligible. So efficiency is nothing but it is multiplied by 100. So this expression efficiency in percentage becomes 40.6. So the efficiency of half wave rectifier is 40.6%. So what it indicates? If efficiency is only 40%, means it indicates only 40% of AC power is converted into its equivalent DC. Rest of the power will get wasted either in the form of ripples or as a drop across the devices what we are using. So remaining 60% of power is in terms of ripples, which is nothing but the fluctuating component in the output. So rectifier efficiency is very less. We can't able to use the rectifier on applications point of view. So far 6 parameters we have discussed. And one more point is, if efficiency is more, ripples are less. Ripples in the sense unwanted DC component present in the unwanted AC component present in the DC output is called ripples. If efficiency is very low, means more ripples are there. If efficiency is more, normally ripples will be less. So because of this less efficiency, it is not advisable to use the half wave rectifier for practical rectification applications. The next one is the ripple factor. So what do you mean by ripple? Ripple is nothing but pulsating components present in the output of the rectified DC voltage or current is called as an ripple. So the output contains pulsating components called ripples. And then what is ripple factor? The ripple factor is nothing but the term used to measure the amount of ripples present in the output. So actually we want is DC output, but whether we are getting a pure DC at the output? No. Output is a pulsating DC having a lot of AC components present in the required DC output. So this is an unwanted components, so that we call it as an ripples. And the factor used to measure the amount of ripples in the output is called ripple factor. So let us see that. So the formula for finding the ripple factor is RMS value of AC component at the output divided by average value, average or DC component of the output. This is given by the parameter IRMS by IDC. So the formula for ripple factor is this one, square root of IRMS by IDC whole square minus 1. So IRMS we have derived the formula Im by 2. So IRMS square means Im square by 2 square is 4. Similarly IDC square, IDC is Im by pi. So IDC square is Im square by pi square. When you simplify these terms, this becomes pi square by 4. Further simplification, this results in ripple factor of 1.211. In percentage, we can say 121% of DC component. It indicates half wave rectifier is a very poor converter of AC to DC. So this indicates the AC component is more than that of the DC component present in the output. Actually, we don't want AC. But how much will be the AC present in the output? 121%. So the using of half wave rectifier is meaningless. So smaller the ripple factor, closer will be the output of pure DC. This is the conclusion from ripple factor. So actually ripple factor should be very less in order to get a pure DC at the output. So the next one is peak inverse voltage. As I already informed, peak inverse voltage, peak means maximum. Inverse means under the reverse bias condition. Voltage means this is voltage. So peak inverse voltage is the maximum voltage across the diode under reverse bias condition is called peak inverse voltage. So reverse bias condition is very important. So actually in the reverse bias condition, what is happening? This is transformer secondary, and see here this is the diode. Here you will get diode. This diode is normally open. So this diode is normally open, and here load resistance RL will be there. So when the diode is open, what will be whether the current will be flowing here? No current is flowing. So what will be the drop across RL? Since current equal to 0, voltage drop across RL will be also equivalent to 0. This is equivalent to 0. What will be the drop across the diode? What is this one? This is the secondary winding of transformer. It voltage is ES, and the drop across the diode is, this is plus and this is minus. Assume reverse bias, no, this is minus and this is plus. Got it? So here the circuit is open, no current flow. Here also output voltage equal to 0. So when you consider the drop across the diode, only voltage existing in the circuit is nothing but ES. So the voltage drop across the diode under reverse bias condition is ES, which is nothing but ES. What is the formula? ES is equal to ESM. We have to see, no, ESM into sine omega t. So maximum voltage alone we are taking, this is ESM. So that's why here written as ESM. This is peak inverse voltage. And the next one is transformer utilization factor. So this indicates how effectively the transformer is used for converting AC input into DC output. So for that, the formula is DC power delivered to the load by AC power rating of transformer secondary. So the formula is DC power delivered is PDC, by AC power rating is PAC normally, but this is on transformer secondary. So whereas PAC what we have calculated earlier is on the input side, that is on the primary winding of transformer. Whereas here we have to consider secondary winding AC power. So that is taken as PAC rated value. So PDC, you know the formula, this is the formula for PDC, and PAC, this is a new thing we need to calculate. So PAC rated as secondary winding voltage is ERMS, current is IRMS. So ERMS, the voltages of RMS value is ESM divided by root 2. IRMS is nothing but DC equivalent of AC current flowing through the diode circuit. That is calculated as IRMS value we have calculated now in the derivation. So that is Im divided by 2. when you substitute this value and this value in this equation, so equation 1, which for example in this formula, so PDC is this one, PAC rated is this formula, substituted here. When you simplify, you will get the transformer utilization factor is 0.287. So which indicates that only 28.7% is utilized effectively. So normally the transformer efficiency will be above 95. So in some cases the transformer may yield the efficiency 100% also. If this is the situation, in half wave rectifier when we use the transformer, it will give only 28.7%, which means that the transformer is not effectively utilized in half wave rectifier. This is another conclusion. And the last one is voltage regulation. So voltage regulation, why we need to calculate the voltage regulation means how effectively the half wave rectifier circuit is capable of to maintain constant output voltage irrespective of changes in the load. So whenever we are using the circuit, at some time we may use full load. During some other time we may use no load, and during some time the load may be 50% or 70%. It is varying according to the requirement. We will use the load. So whatever may be the changes in the load, whether this half wave rectifier is capable of maintaining a constant voltage, then only the stability can be assured. If there is variations in the voltage, fluctuations will be very high, and this circuit is not acceptable for practical applications. So for finding that one, we are calculating voltage regulation. So by definition, it is defined as the change in DC output voltage as the load changes from no load to full load. So load changes from no load condition to full load. So we are voluntarily changing the load from no load, again 20% of load, 50% of load, 80% and then 100%. How the changing nature of voltage at the output terminal we need to observe. But for that the formula is VDC in no load, that is DC output voltage in no load condition minus DC output voltage in full load condition divided by DC output voltage in no load condition into 100. So this is the formula for percentage voltage regulation. So normally if the less will be the value of voltage regulation means better is the performance of the rectifier circuit. Voltage regulation is very less means the circuit is capable enough to maintain the constant voltage at the output. That is the conclusion. So voltage regulation should be very less. So what are all the conclusion we should have? So rectifier efficiency should be very high. So when you consider the last topic is disadvantages, so this topic will summarizes all the 10 parameters we have derived so far. So efficiency is only 40%. This is one of the drawback. And second one is ripple factor is only 1 point, that is 1.2 high, which is quite high, which indicates output DC component having lot of AC component, which is actually unwanted. And third one is transformer utilization factor is very low, which indicates the device is not effectively used in this circuit, and at the same time cost is very high. And last one is regulation is very poor. When you did this experiment practically by using this formula and find the voltage regulation, you will get that very poor percentage of regulation will be very poor. So these are all the getaways from half wave rectifier. So what is the conclusion finally? Because of these advantages, half wave rectifier is not meant for practical application. So what is the alternative? We have to because the main drawback in half wave rectifier is one half cycle is not utilized. It uses only positive half cycle. Negative half cycle is not at all utilized. Right, so it is getting wasted. So next alternation is again another circuit that utilizes both the half cycles effectively, resulting in improved efficiency. So that we will see in next video, full wave rectifier. Thanks for watching.